When I first decided to move into this Ho neighborhood, I thought I was making the best decision of my life. I mean, who wouldn't want to live in a quiet, peaceful place where everyone minds their business, waves politely as you drive by, and respects each other's space? It was supposed to be my little slice of paradise. But let me tell you something. I was wrong. Very wrong. At first, everything seemed perfect. The lawns were neatly trimmed, the kids played outside without a care in the world, and the neighbors seemed friendly enough. But then, there was Karen. Oh yes, Karen. You know the type, always watching, always judging, always finding something to complain about. She wasn't just the president of the HOA, she was the self-appointed ruler of the entire neighborhood. And, trust me when I say this, Karen wasn't your average nosy neighbor. She had a secret weapon. A drone. Yes, you heard me right. Karen had a drone. And this wasn't just any drone. It was her personal spy in the sky. At first, I didn't think much of it. I mean, drones are cool, right? People use them for photography or just for fun. But Karen? Oh no. Karen used her drone for something entirely different. She used it to watch Usto monitor every single move we made in our own homes and backyards. I'll never forget the first time I saw it hovering over my yard. It was early evening, and I was sitting outside with my family, enjoying some quiet time after dinner. Then, suddenly, there it was. This little black dot in the sky, buzzing like an annoying mosquito, but way more intrusive. At first, I thought it was just some kid playing around with their new toy, but then I noticed it wasn't moving randomly. It was focused on us, watching us. And that's when it hit me, this wasn't just some harmless gadget. This was surveillance, Karen's surveillance. Now, let me ask you something. How would you feel if someone was watching your every move? If someone had eyes on your kids playing in the yard or on you while you're trying to relax in your own home? That's exactly what we were dealing with here. Karen wasn't just crossing boundaries, she was obliterating them. And let me tell you, this story isn't just about drones or HOA rules gone too far. It's about standing up for yourself when someone tries to take away your peace of mind and your privacy. It's about saying enough is enough. And trust me, things got messy. So buckle up, because this is one story you won't forget anytime soon. The story of how one woman's obsession with control turned into a neighborhood nightmare, and how we fought back to reclaim our lives. Before we dive into this wild ride, let me know where you're watching from in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button, because trust me, you don't want to miss more stories like this one. You know that feeling when you're starting fresh? A new home, a new neighborhood, and the excitement of building a life in a place that feels just right? That was me. I just moved into what I thought was the perfect neighborhood, a quiet HOA community with beautifully manicured lawns, friendly neighbors, and an air of peace that made me think, this is it. This is where I want to raise my family. The first few weeks were amazing. Everyone seemed so welcoming. I remember thinking to myself, wow, I really hit the jackpot with this place. Even the HOA seemed like a good thing at first, keeping everything organized and maintaining the neighborhood's charm. Now, don't get me wrong, I knew there would be rules. I mean, it's an HOA, that's what they do. No big deal, right? Just keep your lawn trimmed, don't paint your house neon green, and everyone gets along. Simple enough. And then there was Karen. Oh yes, Karen. She wasn't just any neighbor. Karen was the neighbor. You know the one I'm talking about, the self-appointed queen of the block, who always has something to say about everything. Karen wasn't just the president of the HOA. She was its enforcer. She took her role very seriously. Too seriously, if you ask me. At first, it was little things. Notes on your door reminding you to bring in your trash cans by 6 p.m. sharp, or comments about how your mailbox could use a fresh coat of paint. I mean, who does that? Measuring grass? But hey, I figured, live and let live. If she wants to patrol the neighborhood like it's her kingdom, fine, just leave me out of it. But then, things started getting weird. One day, I noticed this little buzzing noise outside my window. At first, I thought it was just some bees or maybe someone mowing their lawn. But when I looked outside, there it was, a drone. Now, I'm not one to jump to conclusions. Maybe it was just some kid playing around or someone testing out their new gadget. But then I noticed something strange. It wasn't flying randomly like you'd expect. It was hovering, watching, following. And guess whose backyard it kept showing up in? Mine. That's when it clicked. This wasn't just some random drone. This was Karen's drone. And she wasn't using it for fun or photography. She was using it to spy on us. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She actually admitted it. She was using her drone to monitor everyone in the neighborhood like some kind of high-tech Big Brother. At first, I tried to brush it off. Maybe she'd get bored and move on. But then, I started noticing patterns. The drone would show up almost every evening around dinner time, when my family and I were outside trying to relax after a long day. It wasn't just annoying, it was invasive. My kids couldn't play outside without feeling like they were being watched. My wife couldn't garden without looking over her shoulder every 5 minutes. And me? Well, let's just say my patience was wearing thin. Neighbor 1. It hovered over my pool while my wife and I were swimming. Who does that? Neighbor 2. I caught it zooming in on my dog. Seriously, my dog. Neighbor 3. We all knew it was Karen's drone, but no one wanted to confront her because, well, she's Karen. That's when I realized this wasn't just about me anymore. This was about all of us. Karen had turned our peaceful neighborhood into her personal surveillance state, and we were all living under her watchful eye. It didn't stop. Day after day, Karen's drone became a regular visitor in our lives. It wasn't just an occasional nuisance anymore, it was an invasion. Every evening, like clockwork, that little black dot would appear in the sky, buzzing over my yard, my family, and sometimes even my neighbors' homes. At first, I tried to ignore it. I really did. But how do you ignore something that's blatantly invading your space? My kids started refusing to play outside. My wife stopped gardening altogether. Even our dog wouldn't go near the backyard without barking at that thing like it was some kind of alien invader. And it wasn't just us. Karen's drone was making its rounds all over the neighborhood, peeking into windows, hovering over pools, and even zooming in on people's faces as they relaxed on their porches. It was like living in some dystopian nightmare where privacy didn't exist. Karen didn't even try to hide it anymore. She acted like she owned the Skyend by extension, all of us who lived beneath it. I had enough. If Karen wanted to play spy games, fine, but 2 could play that game. You see, what Karen didn't know is that I have a background in cybersecurity. And let me tell you, if there's one thing I know how to do, it's how to deal with technology that steps out of line. I spent days researching everything I could about drones, their frequencies, their vulnerabilities, and most importantly, how to disrupt them without causing any permanent damage. I wasn't looking to destroy Karen's drone, just send her a message loud and clear. Stay out of my space. It wasn't easy. I had to make sure everything I did was within legal limits. I didn't want this blowing back on me later. But after countless hours of trial and error, I finally had what I needed, a localized signal jammer that could temporarily disrupt her drone's connection without causing any lasting harm. Now, all I had to do was wait for Karen's next move. My family were outside enjoying some rare time outdoors when the familiar buzzing sound returned. And just like clockwork, there it was. This time I was ready. At first, it just wobbled like it was drunk or something. Then it started spinning uncontrollably, losing altitude fast. And then, bam, right into Karen's pool. For a moment, there was silence, like everyone in the neighborhood collectively held their breath, and then chaos. Karen, you'll pay for this. This is illegal. You destroyed private property. Narrator, calmly. No, Karen, you invaded private property. Neighbor 1, that was amazing. Neighbor 2, finally someone stood up to her. But this wasn't over, not by a long shot. Karen wasn't going down without a fight, but neither was I. Well, let me tell you, when Karen's drone took that dive into her pool, It wasn't just the splash that made waves. The whole neighborhood lit up like fireworks on the 4th of July. People were talking about it everywhere at backyard barbecues, over fences, even at the coffee shop down the street. It was like the neighborhood finally woke up from a bad dream and realized they didn't have to live under Karen's watchful eye anymore. The neighbors were chatting over fences and laughing about the incident. Neighbor 1. Did you see it? It was spitting like crazy before it hit the water. Neighbor 2. I wish I'd recorded. It was priceless. Neighbor 3. Finally, someone put Karen in her place. She's been terrorizing us for years. But of course, not everyone was thrilled. Karen was furious. She wasn't about to let this go quietly. Within hours of the crash, she called an emergency HOA meeting, claiming that I had committed a federal crime by interfering with her drone. She even threatened to sue me for damages, saying her drone was worth thousands of dollars and that I'd intentionally destroyed it. And let me tell you, Karen wasn't just blowing smoke. She was serious. HOA members gathered at Karen's house for an emergency meeting. Karen stands at the front of the room, gesturing wildly as she tries to rally support. Karen, this is unacceptable. We can't let people like him disrupt our community. He needs to be held accountable. HOA member, but Karen, weren't you using the drone to spy on people? It was clear Karen was trying to spin the narrative in her favor. But here's the thing. She underestimated just how fed up everyone was with her antics. By now, most of the neighborhood had seen or heard about her drone spying on them, and they weren't buying her victim act anymore. I knew Karen wasn't going down without a fight, so I decided to prepare for whatever she might throw my way. And lucky for me, I had something she didn't evidence. You see, what Karen didn't realize is that her own drone had been recording everything, including all the times it trespassed over private property and invaded people's privacy. And thanks to my security cameras, I had plenty of footage showing exactly what her drone had been up to. I spent days compiling everything: video, evidence, witness statements from neighbors who'd seen the drone hovering over their homes, and even screenshots from Karen's social media posts bragging about how she used her drone to keep people in line. Neighbor 1. I saw it hovering over my yard almost every day. I couldn't even have a private conversation outside. Neighbor 2. She told me herself that she used it to catch rule breakers. Neighbor 3. It felt like we were living in a surveillance state. Legal expert. Under most privacy laws, using a drone to surveil someone without their consent is considered trespassing and harassment. Additionally, HOA regulations typically don't grant authority for this kind of invasive behavior. It's a clear abuse of power. With all this evidence in hand, I knew I had a solid casino just against Karen's drone antics, but against her entire reign as HOA president. It all came down to this special vote to decide whether Karen should remain as HOA president. And let me tell you, the tension in that room was thick enough to cut with a knife. Board member. After reviewing this evidence, it's clear that Karen violated both privacy laws and HOA regulations. As such, we're calling for an immediate vote on her removal. The vote wasn't even close. By the end of the meeting, Karen was officially removed as HOA president, and let me tell you, the neighborhood erupted in celebration. Neighbor 1. Finally, we can breathe again. Neighbor 2. No more drones. No more spying. This is what freedom feels like. Karen packed up her drone and her ego and retreated into obscurity after that day. And as for me, well, let's just say life in our neighborhood finally went back to normal. This story isn't just about drones or HOA rule sets about standing up for yourself when someone crosses the line. It's about reclaiming your peace of mind and reminding people that no one has the right to invade your privacy. So, if you've ever dealt with someone like Karina, neighbor, who thinks they can control your life, remember this. You have every right to fight back. And sometimes, all it takes is one bold move to change everything. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button for more stories like this one. You know, this story isn't just about drones or HOA disputes. It's about standing up for what's right when someone abuses their power. It's about knowing when to say, enough is enough, and taking action to protect your peace of mind and your privacy. I know some of you watching this might be dealing with your own Karen, whether it's a nosy neighbor, an overbearing HOA president, or someone who just doesn't respect boundaries. And if that's you, I want you to know something. You're not alone. You have every right to stand up for yourself and reclaim your space. So here's what I want you to do. Share your story in the comments below. Tell me about the challenges you've faced in your neighborhood or community, whether it's drones, disputes, or anything else. Let's create a space where we can support each other and share ideas on how to handle situations like this. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this story or found it inspiring, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I've got plenty more stories like this one, coming your way, stories about real people standing up for themselves and making a difference. After Karen was removed as HOA president, life in our neighborhood changed completely. The tension that used to hang in the air disappeared almost overnight. People started coming together, again sharing laughs, helping each other out, and enjoying their homes without fear of being watched. It wasn't just about getting rid of Karen, it was about reclaiming our peace. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like knowing you can step outside your door without feeling like someone is watching your every move. But here's the thing, this story isn't over yet, because even though Karen is gone, there are still lessons we need to learn from what happened here. Lessons about respecting boundaries, standing up for ourselves, and building communities that value trust and mutual respect over control. And who knows, maybe someday I'll have another story to share with you, like the time we spotted another drone on the horizon. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy this moment of peace. But hey, if there's one thing I've learned from living here, it's that life in an HOA neighborhood is never boring. So if you want to hear more stories like this, or maybe even find out what happens next, make sure you stick around, because trust me, there's always more where this came from. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.